Jay here, Stretford, Paddock. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford, and this is the Paper Talk. Oh, no, it's not. I'm in the studio, but I'm holding a microphone for a change.
Like John Motson and, another one.
Barry Davis.
Yeah. Gary Neville.
Yes. Joining me, as always, for Paddock Live is my good friend and esteemed colleague, Joe Smith.
Why have we got these mics, Jay?
Because someone took our usual microphones on a little trip and left them in their bag. But don't worry, we roll with the punches. That's what we do.
And we're here with the usual microphone.
And we're live, and we want you to get involved in the comments and the chat. Let us know what you think about any of the stories that we're going to be talking about tonight. And I'll tell you what we're going to be talking about, Joe, tonight, because I know you want to know. We're talking about Carlo Ancelotti. Yes, man. Or some people in this building like to call him Carlos Ancelotti.
What, who said that?
Whoever wrote that over there.
Carlos! Where's he from?
The
South American
manager that we all love. So talking about Carlo Ancelotti because apparently Fergie wants him. We'll also be talking about Newcastle potentially being in for someone.
Another one that's got me somewhere.
United being linked with Palhinha. We'll talk about that. McTominay, Paul Pogba, and all that good stuff as well. So we'll start off with the main one. Do get involved in the chat and the comments and hit that like button as well. Give us a like and a subscribe if you're not doing. But as you can see from the graphic there, United explore short-term managerial options. Reports have suggested, always a good way to start a sentence, the Real Madrid boss has emerged as a contender for the Man United job as the search continues for a permanent appointment.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ifs and buts and maybes in that sentence, isn't there?
Yeah. But
it seems that Sir Alex Ferguson's a fan. Apparently he recommended him back in 2013. Or he was one of the managers that Fergie said could do a job. Would you take Ancelotti as the obvious question?
That's the problem for me, though, is the short-term stuff. And obviously, we take short-term to mean 6 months because that's what Rangnick's under. But actually, I think this is probably more of a 1 to 2 year type solution, isn't it?
Yeah.
How old is Ancelotti now?
62.
You're looking at that. There you go. Which isn't that old, really, because he's been around for so long and obviously won the Champions League as a manager, sorry.
Well, as a player and a manager, right?
Well, yeah, he's won it twice as both, hasn't he? I think he's the only person to ever have won it at least twice as a player and as a manager. But he doesn't tend to stick around at places very long. Everton was a weird thing that happened. He's obviously done good jobs at Real Madrid before. He's doing a decent job there again now, looking as though they're probably going to win the league there. And still, in with a shout against PSG. They're only 1-0 down, aren't they? So it's not as though they're out of that by any means. He's a great manager. He's one of the great and most underrated managers of this era, I would say.
His record's ridiculous.
It's unbelievable. I think he might... Where's he managed? Real Madrid, Bayern Munich?
Milan. Juve, obviously Chelsea, PSG.
Yeah. Won a Premier League as well.
Bayern Munich.
Let's not forget.
Yeah.
He's one of those names...
Won a double, didn't
he? I think he did. If you're looking through a list of Premier League winners as manager, your brain doesn't automatically jump to Carlo Ancelotti, but he has won it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one. He's a great manager. And to all the people who would have liked Conte, Ancelotti is, for me, a better version of that. He doesn't play the same way, but in terms of comes in for 2 or 3 years, wins big trophies and leaves, Ancelotti is just as good and actually proven over longer than Antonio Conte is.
He's won 3 Champions Leagues at 2 different clubs.
Unbelievable.
That's not, that sometimes managers get a club or a team that's just amazing and win a few Champions Leagues with him. He's not. He's won it.
And it was La Decima that he won as well, wasn't it, Real Madrid?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Because it would have been
they
that
were looking for forever.
Yeah, so he's, he won 2 at Milan and, like you say, La Decima at Real Madrid in 2014. So he's got 3 Champions Leagues under his belt. He's won Serie A. He's won the Premier League. He's obviously won... I don't think he has. He's won the Bundesliga with Bayern Munich. He looks like he could be on course to win the Liga.
I think all he is...
yes, you can look at him and you can go... I was at an Ancelotti press conference once as a student. They took us down there, and it was ahead of the Liverpool game, Chelsea-Liverpool. And someone asked him about Istanbul. And said, "Is Istanbul? Do you still think about that?" And he just said, "I think about Athena more." Obviously, Athens. Well, he won against Liverpool, so nicely done.
Not bad.
Nicely played.
Nice
sir.
retort, that
nice
isn't
retort.
it?
Yeah. Uber successful. Only question about him is, do United want another short-term answer? That's the question, because you can't sort of dispute his record. It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
You could maybe go, he has become a little bit of not I don't try sort of short-term option now for many clubs, and he's become a sort of a stopgap. Yeah, gun for hire is the term I was looking for. Yeah. Thank you. He went to Napoli there for a couple of years. Went to Everton. Now he's at Madrid. Now there's talk of him leaving Madrid at the end of the season, coming to United.
Well, was it straight from Bayern Munich to Napoli? Have you got it in front of you there? Because he kind of went in the wilderness a little bit, didn't he? Didn't do very well at Napoli. They had Sarri going on there and made them relevant again, did really well. He left for Chelsea. They brought Ancelotti in that gap, I think, and didn't really do very well. Then went to Everton, started brilliantly, didn't really do very well. Then got, obviously, one of the biggest jobs in world football at Real Madrid, and is doing pretty well there with a team that is nowhere near the one he had 7 years ago. So he's a great manager. And again, for some reason, I don't see the same clamour for him that we saw for Conte. And yet he is just a better version of Conte. He is a better man. I'm not just comparing the two because they're Italian. I'm talking about a man that will go from country to country, winning title for different teams over and over again. He's got a very similar kind of ethos and way of moving that Conte has, and yet no one seems to be talking about him. I would much prefer him to Antonio Conte. And for me, I would put him third on that list behind Ten Hag and Poch, I think.
And I think
he's a great manager.
Earlier on, Ten Hag's top of my list. I'd take Ancelotti over Poch.
Really?
Well, he's just better.
Yeah.
Are you more likely to win or challenge for a Premier League next season with Ancelotti or Pochettino as your manager?
Next season, Ancelotti.
Yeah. Well, all right, 2 seasons from now.
2 seasons, Ancelotti. 5 seasons, he's not there anymore. Yeah. That's the problem.
Well, to be honest with you, are we kidding ourselves here? Is Pochettino going to be Manchester United manager from the summer till 5 seasons from now?
I'm not saying he will be. No, I'm saying he could be.
Yeah.
I don't think Ancelotti could be.
Right.
I don't think there is a world where he stays for 5 years. I think there is a world where Poch does.
You know what? If we don't get Ten Hag, I think we should just bite the bullet and go more down the obviously short-term route. Sorry, yeah, because we always kid ourselves. We're not doing the short-term thing. We've not had a manager who's done 3 seasons yet since Fergie retired. So they've all been short-term.
Yeah.
Like, whether we like it or not. We gave David Moyes a 6-year contract. He's on a 6-year contract. He's best mates with Fergie. And what did he do? He did 9 months.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We gave Mourinho an extension in January. We sacked him in December.
Yeah.
We gave Ollie, I think, an extension in the summer. We
June.
sacked him in December, wherever it was. So we're just pretending that we're long-term without actually being it. So you can bring in a Pochettino and go, okay, give him a 5-year deal and he's going to be here for 5 years. But if after 2.5 of those years we're still in 7th, he'll get sacked. Yeah. And I think with Ancelotti, he's not quite at the levels he was. I think he has dimmed his lustre a little bit, getting sort of, and was it mutual consent with Napoli? However it was in Napoli. Then he goes to Everton, wasn't great.
No.
If we're being honest.
We just did what Everton do, we just finished 9th every year.
But he's probably got enough in the tank that it doesn't damage him too much. It's just someone you go, okay, that's not great. Gone to Real Madrid, looks like he's got them in order. We'll see what happens in the Champions League. Like you say, it's still all to play for against PSG.
Yeah, massively.
But yeah, I'd take Ancelotti. Let's get into some of the comments, see what everyone's saying. Samuel says, this news is about as relevant as when the Shed 7 split up. You are joking.
You are joking.
Jay Benson says, I'd rather stick with Ralph and let him bring in players he wants to play. Zeri Mood says, Conte's success is more recent and impact is probably quicker because of his short-term mentality. I would prefer to stay with Rangnick until we get a Ten Hag or a Poch. Emil Nielsen says, Jay, you're absolutely right. If we're going to be short-term, might as well get someone who's good at it. You always point out this, and you're not wrong. Chelsea just go out and they get the best available manager, regardless of how short or long-term that is. So if it's Rafa Benitez for 6 months, they'll get him. If it's Antonio Conte, who's just won Serie A, they'll get him. If it's Thomas Tuchel, who's been sacked by PSG, but he's literally the best one you can get right now, they'll get him. If it's Gus Hiddink, they'll get him.
Yeah, Conte.
And it works.
Jose.
Yeah, it works for them. They win trophies constantly.
Yeah.
So why don't we just do that?
Yeah, I think there is just.
Have we just got? That's what. Have we got to just bite the bullet and go? We are now. But that's what we are.
Maybe.
Or we still go, nah, we're United, bro. We ain't doing that.
I think there is still that.
Okay.
I think there are some ideals that we still cling on to as United fans, where you do think the only people that have won, league titles or had genuine success for Manchester United have been there for a long time. They are like legacy, deeply entrenched, fundamental, foundational people of this club. We don't have short-term success at United. That's not really ever been what we've done. So I think there is a reluctancy to go, you know what, fuck it. Let's follow the Chelsea model. Especially when not everyone is doing that. Klopp's been at Liverpool for 5 or 6 years. Pep's been at City for 4 or 5 years. Like, these are relatively 6 years, long term in the modern game. It's not like you have to be short term. I know Chelsea do that, and they've done it to great deal of success. But still, to have sustained challenge after challenge after challenge, 3 titles in 4 years, 5 titles in 7 years, like City are doing, they've done that pretty much with one manager. I know, obviously, Pep and Mancini won. Pellegrini and Mancini.
That's what I was going to get to that. Because, listen, I'm not advocating this, by the way. I'm asking this question.
Yeah.
You mentioned there Pellegrini.
Yeah.
He was short term when he won a title.
He was, but no one's ever won back-to-back titles that wasn't long term or longer term. It doesn't tend to happen. You know, someone goes and then someone wins the title, they do shit, they get sacked. Whereas with Pep, he's been there 6 years, he's won back-to-back titles. The only other person that's done it is Fergie, isn't it?
Fergie and Mourinho, the only two
Mourinho
to do back-to-back titles.
And I guess Mourinho wasn't
Wenger
that
was at
long-term,
Arsenal for 20 odd years. He didn't win back-to-back titles.
No, he didn't. And I know it's not a guarantee of success, but I just think surely in an ideal world we'd like to set ourselves up to have at least 5 years. I'm not saying Fergie levels. I'm not saying Busby levels. But let's say 5 years.
All right, let me play devil's advocate and ask a different question.
Go on,
right? If we appoint Poch in the summer, in 5 years' time, do you think we'll have more trophies than if we appoint Ancelotti in the summer in 5 years' time? Do you think Poch can lay down that foundation that makes us successful?
More trophies or bigger trophies?
That's a good question. We'll go with bigger trophies.
Bigger trophies, I think Poch.
Okay, fair enough.
More trophies, I think Ancelotti.
All right.
Because if we get Ancelotti, he'll come in. He probably will get us an FA Cup or a League Cup or a Europa League or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Jose did. He's like that sort of style.
Yeah.
I think if we want to win the Premier League, we need someone with a bit more of a plan because this team isn't there yet.
There's another question as well. I know we're sort of talking about this quite a lot, but it's important
we'll move on shortly.
because you know it's worth talking about. And also hit that like button. Let's get to 200 likes, please. 183. Connor Allen's just said the words right out of my mouth. Players will respect Ancelotti. Do you think Ancelotti comes in there and he pulls his pants down and pulls out his 3 Champions League winning medals, slams them on the table, and then says, "If you don't like that, yeah, here's a couple of title wins as well. I know how many cups do you want."
Yeah.
Whereas Poch goes in and
he pulls his pants down. What's in there? A fly.
Yeah. He goes, "I won a cup with Paris
A
last
moth
year.
and a
I
runners-up medal."
walked the league at the second time of asking in Paris." Do you think the players are going to go, "Okay, Carlo Ancelotti's here, someone who's won the lot several times, I'm going to do as I'm told"? And also, do you think maybe other players will go, "Yeah, I'll go and play for Ancelotti"? Do you think Poch has that? Do you think
I think Poch is getting that.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people think that Poch hit his limit at the Champions League final 3 years ago. But I think that on the world scale, managing PSG to Champions League success, not necessarily a trophy, but competency and a league title, managing that team that has got one of the greatest sort of starting 11s on paper ever assembled. I know obviously a lot of them are past it, and but you look at the team he's having to look after there. I think he's gained a lot from these 18 months so far at PSG.
Yeah,
I do think that. And again, like you go back to talking about him being a short-term manager. It's not like Ancelotti hasn't been sacked. Yeah. Most great managers who you think deserve respect leave or get sacked. Zidane, Ancelotti's been sacked multiple times. Conte's looking like he could get sacked anytime at Tottenham. He got sacked from Chelsea. Like Jose's been sacked over and over again. Great managers lose respect. Do you know what I mean? It's not like when Jose left, everyone hated him at United, it seemed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the rumours were that everyone hated him at Chelsea. So just because you've won something doesn't mean you have immediate or long-lasting respect from the club. Winning things at the time is what gets you respect, and I think Poch probably can do that. I don't necessarily think he'd be my first choice, but I just think Ancelotti's a bit, I don't know, like you said, is he yesterday's man a little bit?
I think this season could be, could tell us a lot.
Yeah.
It could, because we've said this about Pochettino. I'm still not mad on him, but if he does something serious this season, when I say serious, I mean win the Champions League, then all of a sudden people go, okay, this guy's gone to a different level. Mm-hmm. And, even Ancelotti, I mean, that game between them two, you say it was 1-0 in it to PSG, but it's the next one's at the Bernabeu.
And also, with the no away goals rule, in the past, obviously, if PSG had scored now, Real Madrid would have needed 3. Yeah. Whereas now, a 2-1 win will put them to extra time. Like it changes things a lot,
That's what I mean. So that game, I mean, I personally think Ancelotti is further down the line. I think this club are all in for Poch or Ten Hag.
Yeah.
There's even talk of Luis Enrique being on the radar. Yeah. So I don't think Ancelotti is top of the list. But if he was to do something mad, like win another Champions League and he can go, look, I've won 4.
Yeah.
it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah.
If Madrid don't want to keep him. So it's interesting. Kyle Chester's has been a member of the academy for 6 months, says, I'd only want Poch if he wins Champions League. I agree. Otherwise, he's still on a downhill spiral. Ten Hag is moving upwards, or stick with Ralph one more year. Samuel says, do you normally hold microphones, or am I going mad? No, we don't normally hold microphones. Someone took the usual microphones that we use, so we've rolled with the punches, and we're now pretending that we're doing a bit of a fan cam.
They haven't been stolen. They'll be
no,
back.
they borrowed him.
Yeah.
So now we're doing it like we're fan cam style.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And you're doing your hair, aren't you?
Yeah.
Man's it's usually one mic. Is it one mic? Fan cameras.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's been a while, but yeah, that's how it easily goes. Do get involved in the chat, get involved in the comments, hit that like and that share button, and subscribe as well to the channel if you're not doing. Yeah. So Ancelotti, we'll keep an eye on that one, won't we?
Yeah,
now,
we will.
I think we've got a video that we're gonna.
So if you haven't seen it, Adam McCullough is on a new podcast with BetVictor that is called Last Fan Standing.
I like that. It's a pun.
Good, isn't it? We know Adam McCullough of this
Adam
parish.
McCullough. Oh, Adam McCullough.
That's the one.
Yeah, he's a mate of mine.
You know what? We'll talk about it afterwards. I'm already sick of this. Him talking about fucking what's his name? We've stood on this channel in this very spot for too many times saying how shit he is.
Yeah.
And now Adam McCullough goes and says this.
You used to have a segment on Premier League piss, didn't you?
Yeah, right. He's thrown me under the bus here. Watch this.
Go on, watch.
When you look at the Arsenal team and you look at those teams around, and Manchester United should not be doing what we're doing at the moment. It's a disgrace where we are, considering the players that we have in our squad. Spurs, with the manager that they have and the goal scorers that they have, you'd expect them to not be losing 4 out of their last 5 games. And then when you look at Arsenal, Arteta's been questioned for a lot, finished 8th twice. You know, you look around their team, they haven't got a massive squad. They've let go their captain and their biggest goal scorer. And somehow they're doing it, even with Xhaka still in midfield. So, yes, I think Arsenal deserve credit and Arteta deserves credit. Been massively helped by 1 game a week and other teams around them tossing it in. So I think you're right.
What's that? After
the table's
amount of times we
turned
played
or
better
what?
than Arteta on this very table, saying that everyone in the league is better than Mikel Arteta. Now he's saying he deserves credit.
Is he right though?
He's sat there with his
Because
new
it's
mates.
hard to say. It's hard to say it. Like I don't mean it's hard to say it in terms of like, oh, you don't know. I think it's hard, like emotionally, to admit it.
Yeah.
But he's looking all right, isn't he?
Do you know what he's looking like to me?
Go on.
He's looking like an average manager who's doing an
Really?
average. Yes, because they haven't got. He says it there. They haven't got midweek football.
Right.
United have.
Yeah.
I know we've got a much better squad than they have, and they're doing all right. But are they doing any better than West Ham last season or Leicester for the last 2 seasons? Leicester were in the top 4 for like 100 out of the last 104 weeks. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like for the 2 seasons before this, they were in the top 4 for almost all of it and narrowly missed out. Arsenal haven't even been in the top 4 in about 3 months. Like, I know that they can go there on goal difference. They've got 1 game a week to focus on. They've had this manager in for 3 years. Oh, and he's finally getting a bit of a tune out of him. Now let's call him a top manager. He's just an all right manager with a squad that's better than the ones around it that don't have to play 2 games a week.
It pains me to say it.
Oh,
No, I just feel like I get you make a point. He's an alright manager, but I think that club was such a mess. It was. It's just full of muppets on and off the pitch.
Full of muck.
It is, and he sort of made some big decisions, especially Aubameyang and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'll give him
some of
credit
his
for that.
signings. You look at, you go, what Ramsdale, what Ben White? Yeah, all right, mate. And they've worked hard. He's got getting a chin out of youngsters, and he's already got a trophy under his belt. Yes, he finished 8th twice, which was pathetic. But he has won a trophy, and winning the FA Cup is a good achievement, and I wish we'd do it more often. So, I don't know. I think like it pains me to say it, but yeah, he looks like he's getting it. I just hope it all crumbles, and I hope they do finish 8th again this season.
Yeah,
if that does, then I'll say shit.
They need their meltdown again, don't they?
Yeah,
fair enough.
the due one. Daniel Kirk has been a member of the Academy for 5 months. Would Ralph recommend Ancelotti? That's a very good point. Because Ralph Radnick apparently is going to have a say in the next manager. So
He is.
there you go. Go on.
Yeah, if you want to check that video out, the full video with Adam in there, the link is in the comments or in the description. Sorry, check it out after you've watched this though.
So yeah, so you can watch the full video over on BetVictor's channel, like Joe said there. The link's in the description, and you can see McCullough and a few of the others on there. Not that you won't watch the others, you won't watch McCullough, don't you? Chatting about Mikel Arteta and top 4 and all that other stuff.
How has that happened? He's a disgrace. I need to have a word with him about that, actually.
I think you should have a serious word
I
with
really
him.
should. Right, should we talk about a bit of Ronald?
A bit of what?
Oh, Ronald.
Ronald.
Here he is.
Here he is. United turn attention back to La Liga after seeing Varane make an almost seamless transition United are reportedly keen to turn their attention back to La Liga in search of another centre-back.
Yeah.
Do you like that? That tickled
Well,
you?
almost seamless transition. We're fucking fit. We're fourth. With
After
about
seeing
40
Varane
games
make
played
an
more than
almost
everyone else.
seamless transition.
He's been good. Yeah, he's been good. I suppose he has made a relatively seamless transition. But he's not Varane. Ronald Araujo is not Varane.
Do you know what this reminds me?
That's like saying world-class player is good for a different team. Therefore, every player, like the factor we've used here, isn't the fact that Varane is world-class. That's not the filter that we've put on this. It's that he played in Spain. And that's what makes him good.
It reminds me of those movie posters that you see. And it says, from the studio that brought
Yeah.
you... From the studio that brought you Citizen Kane.
From the league that brought you Raphael Varane.
Yeah. What
and
does that mean?
Gabriel at Arsenal.
What's that got to do with anything?
Yeah.
It's meaningless.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Do you know what I mean? Like, you could say that about any league, about anyone.
Yeah.
Oh, it's from the Premier League. Oh, that's the league that brought you, Wayne Rooney.
Yeah.
Yes, but it also brought you,
Yeah, go on. Get someone, say someone.
a Boué.
Yeah. From the league that brought you...
William Prunier.
Yes, exactly. Does it just because it also brought you Cristiano Ronaldo?
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it,
Yeah, what
it
is
also,
that? It's nonsensical.
Yeah.
Do you know much about this kid?
Not really. I know he's a quite highly rated centre-back. I think his contract runs out in 2023. And by all accounts, Barca want to extend it. Again, just ridiculous. No offence to, Callum through there. This is the story here from... Spanish outlet El Chiringuito TV.
Spanish outlet
But
El
aren't they the
Chiringuito
one
TV.
that's like a bit of a joke?
No, not like that made up one. Do you remember that made up one that was doing
that
the
was
rounds? El whatever.
I did a
radio.
video on that and went, this is fake.
Did you do it?
Yeah. I didn't know it was fake. I just said it was. And then it turned out it was. I was like, yeah, I know. I told you it was fake.
I was with the guy that's created that the other
Were
day. Yeah, he told me. And he went,
Wait, was this like last year?
Yeah, when it was all doing the rounds.
Yeah,
a lot of people got duped by it.
Well, we did a video on it.
Yeah.
And I didn't know it was actually fake, but I said, this isn't real.
Yeah, he did.
So I kind of got duped.
He's a bit of a prank, and like me and him were chatting on the way back from Madrid, and he was telling me about all these things he'd done. Like he said about that radio station that they created, and we had everyone going that this was news stories, and the radio station didn't exist. It was just nonsensical. But don't let that stand in the way of a good story.
Yeah.
And some of those transfer rumours turned out to be rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, doesn't look like there's much in this.
I love the logic.
Yeah. Ronald Araujo, who's from La Liga, and we've had players from La Liga before. So, we got Jordi Cruyff, I think, from La Liga. So, therefore, ipso facto, we're getting this kid. He's going to be mint.
World class.
Exactly. World class. Get involved in the comments. Do you know much about him? Do you care? Do you think we should get him? Dama, Sam, welcome to the academy.
Welcome.
If you are looking at the membership, go and check it out. There's extra content on there.
Yeah.
You can see some videos we've done. We've got a behind-the-scenes video with Rio. We've got my vlog when I was over in Madrid. We've got a bit of a documentary on Andy Tate. Got some other stuff with me and you doing fantasy football stuff and all that jazz.
Yeah.
Extra stuff on the members section. But if you're not doing, make sure you are subscribing to this channel. Charlie Warwick says he's class, to be fair. Pogo Gamer says bit like Varane then. LJ says from the league that brought us Bailly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like everybody. But
no, we do. I mean, it's just it doesn't mean anything.
No.
Right, should we move on?
Yeah.
Yao Palhinha.
Here we go.
The price of rice. Yeah.
Was that Forsyth?
Forsyth.
The price.
Come
of
on
rice.
down. So much better than last week.
Yeah.
Nothing in this game for two in a bed. Yeah. Yeah. The price of rice.
Nice to see you.
To see you. Rice.
Jay. Oh, nice. Rice. Yeah. The price of rice could see United turn to João Palhinha as of Sporting Lisbon reported to have a £50 million release clause. What do you think of that?
Right. The big word in this sentence.
Palhinha.
Well, there's that.
Oh.
I would argue the big word could.
Yeah.
Could see United turn to Yao Palhinha.
Right, Callum, do you have that story that we had last week that I said Jay would lose his mind at? It's got so many ifs, buts, and maybes in it.
Can
Me
you
and
get
Jordan
it
went
up?
through it. Right, get that while we're doing this.
Find
you know the
that.
one I mean?
Right.
And last week when you went here,
Yeah.
I was like, if Jay saw this, he would shit his
Find
pants.
it, and we'll bring it up and we'll go over it
Yeah,
again with me
but
and
let's
Lee.
start with
We'll
this.
start with this one. Could see United turn to Yao Palhinha. So basically, because Declan Rice is roughly going to be the fee that we've known he's going to be for the last 2 years, that means United are looking at alternatives, and this kid for 50 million quid from Sporting Lisbon, the club that brought you Cristiano Ronaldo and Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah.
And Nani.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So.
I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
You know, the club that brought you them,
mistaken.
never mind the league.
Yeah.
The club that brought you them players, he must be mint
Yeah.
because they were mint
Yeah.
most of the time with Nani.
Some of the time, actually.
Some of the time.
His first 100 games, he got like 30 assists, which is incredible.
Yes.
Nani. So.
I love the stat where it's him and Ronaldo and he's better by
Yeah.
about a goal or an assist. He's better than Ronnie.
Better then.
Yeah, well, how did that work out for either of them? I mean, again, do you see much in this? Defensive midfielder, we know we need one of them.
Yeah.
He's 26, who's a good age. Could come here.
He's a good age.
Get 4 years out of him, then he moves on.
Why would he move on?
Well, he might stay. I just think, you know.
Like Herrera.
Herrera, yeah, he might do one of those videos where he acts like he's Brian Robson or something.
Yeah.
There's a highlights reel of all the
Walking
things
through
that
the
he did.
city.
Yeah, I love this city, but, you know, Paris offered me a bit more, so what are you going to do?
Yeah. I love the city just a bit less than I love cash.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I love Manchester,
Yeah.
but my God, what do I love more than Manchester? I've always said it, cash.
And with all the money I've got, I can just buy lots of pictures of Manchester anyway.
Yeah, exactly. I can make my room look like Manchester.
Yeah, so I'm more or less in Manchester
Yeah.
anyway, so I may as well go.
My personal chef is from Oldenshaw.
Oldenshaw? Oldenshaw. So random.
No. Oldenshaw. Gorton.
Is that near you, that, Lewis?
Oldenshaw.
No, he's not. He's Oldham way, I think.
Oldham.
Right, sorry.
Is
Forgive
Oldham
me.
in Greater Manchester?
He's Oldham in Greater Manchester.
Is
Oldham's,
it? Just a bit.
Come
Yeah,
on.
we like Palhinha, but let's just get Declan Rice instead, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. Should we just get Declan Rice? That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Instead of getting an alternative, let's go and get out the transfer target that we've supposedly had for the last 2 years.
Yes.
And the one that is massively needed in the middle of our team.
Yeah.
Because we've not had a defensive midfielder for about 9 years. And he's also the best one out there who we could get. And we could get him if we pay the money.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Do we have that other story, Callum? Right, I think we've got this story. So let me just give you a bit of backup here. This is a deal. Is this it? Have you got the graphic? This is the graphic that we need because the graphic was sensational. But anyway, we can move on.
Right,
If
you
you
have a
get
look
it,
for
let
that
me know.
graphic while
Yeah.
I'll move on to Scott
Yeah, go on.
McTominay. Put Scott McTominay on there.
Yeah.
And then you look for the other graphic and I'll talk about Scott McTominay. There we go.
There we go.
McTominay returns to Man United training.
Yeah.
The midfielder has missed the last 2 matches against Atletico Madrid and Watford due to illness, having starred in the match against Leeds prior.
Illness is always a weird one, isn't it? Because it's just nondescript. Normally, if it's an injury, you'll say, oh, he's got a bit of a calf, a bit of a hamstring, whatever. But illness, that could be COVID, that could be dicky tummy, that could be cholera. That could be anything. Do you know what I mean?
Could be pleurisy.
Yeah, it could be fucking meningitis. Yeah. It's very open-ended illness, isn't it?
Yeah. We're not saying that Scott McTominay has got meningitis or cholera.
No, but illness is often the one that's used when they fall out with someone or they're covering up a fucking driving
Thing
ban,
is,
or
right?
I'm not saying any of that's happened, but it's just a bit nondescript.
If you're a
isn't it?
footballer, you will get ill.
I like that from you.
Like, do you know what I mean?
Respect that.
You will. It's not like you're immune to illness because you play football.
No, I like what you've done though.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Really nice.
it's true.
No, it is true.
Like-
it is true. Yeah.
It's like I remember once when was it Yaya Toure had a migraine,
Yeah.
and he couldn't play,
Yeah.
and people were going, "He's got a migraine, he can't play."
Yeah.
No, he can't.
Yeah,
He's got a migraine.
Yeah, and if you work at Halfords, you're expected to go in with a fucking migraine. And yet, sat behind a computer somewhere in a call centre, you don't go to work with a migraine. And yet, if you're running up and down for 90 minutes, you're expected to fucking have the vision and ability to control the ball, pass the ball, win headers. Like, you're meant to win headers with a migraine just because you paid loads of money. It's fucking paralysing.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Real outrage that he was
broken leg and he
What's
doesn't want
that?
to play football.
He's on it. Like, that was the thing. People say, like, he's on 100 grand a week.
Yeah.
Oh, so that automatically fixes a migraine for
Hey,
you.
mate, Jay, you could saw me into fucking 8 pieces
Yeah.
like fucking Guy Fawkes,
Yeah.
and I'd still play for Man United if I was earning that much money. Throw the pieces onto the pitch.
There's nurses out there on 30 grand a year,
Yeah.
and you're moaning about a migraine when
Yeah.
you're on 120 grand a year. Well, yes, because I still can't do the job I need to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. So, yeah, I mean, Scott McTominay, I don't think there is any issues there, underlying issues.
I've seen people saying you shouldn't be tired if you're on that much money. That's a good one. You should what you paid 150 grand a week and you're tired? Yes. Of course.
That's my favourite,
Can't
innit?
put cash in your fucking ankles.
Yeah, it's like
and fix them.
It's like when people think you can like store up energy.
Yeah.
By like if you don't play for 6 months and then you play every week, you're never going to get tired because you didn't play for those 6 months.
Yeah, you never get tired.
Like, that's not how it works.
No, the battery of a human refills in about 10 days and doesn't get any more than that. Do you know what I mean? It's not like just have 2 years off and you're fighting fit. You're worse after 2 years than you are after 2 weeks.
I mean, listen, Scott McTominay, we need him, don't we?
I think we do.
Yeah.
I think we've got to a point where I'm willing to admit, or I'm willing to proclaim that he is our best and most available central defensive midfielder. I think he's not our best. I think Matic is, but I think Matic can't play every week, and he's better than Fred.
Do you think Matic could play because we've had a week off? I know we just said all those things about energy, but he's had a rest.
Yeah.
Do you think he could? 6-day gap, is it? 7-day gap between matches? What is it? No, I'm getting it wrong. 8 day, innit? It's Saturday to Sunday. So
maybe he could. I just don't know because he doesn't seem to, does he? And he just doesn't get trusted in these big games. I wouldn't be surprised to see Matic and McTominay and Fred in there. But personally, I'd go McTominay, Fred and Pogba. I think that's our most creative and best midfield that we've got. I think Matic at his best would go in there ahead of him. But based on how much Ollie played him and how much Ralph's played him, you get one game every 8 weeks out of Matic. He just doesn't play, does he? So something's going on.
What do you think? Get involved in the comments. Let us know what you think. Do you want to see Scott McTominay start? Just getting some of the super chats. What happens to Full-Time Devils? How did you switch? Basically, a load of the presenters on Full-Time Devils, myself, Joe, Adam McCullough and Stephen Howson, bought it and then changed the name to Stretford Paddock. Dylan Ducey says, did Cam take the good mics with him, lads? Good question.
Yeah.
No, we'll be checking that. Yeah, I'll send him a strongly worded message. I don't think he did, but... Santa Knott says, Jay's high-pitched laugh reminds me of Stan Laurel for some reason. It's another fine mess you've got me into. I used to love Lauren Hardy. Well, still do.
Too.
Quality, aren't they?
Yeah, really good.
Good old-fashioned, do you know what I mean?
Good
classic,
shit,
eh? There's going to be a fight. Anyway, enough about United's midfielders. Let's talk about something else. Paul Pogba. Hey! Paul Labille, we've not spoken about him for about 4 hours. What's the latest? Newcastle entering the race.
Entering the race for Paul Pogba. According to Spanish outlet, which why would they know, Fichajes, Newcastle entered the race to sign Pogba at the turn of the year. What are you saying?
I mean, really? Could it happen?
I think it could happen.
Him in a Newcastle shirt?
I think it could happen. I don't think it will happen, but if it did, I wouldn't go, I can't believe it. What, Paul Pogba wants loads of money and Newcastle might give it to him? That wouldn't shock me. I know as much as we all think he wants to go and win trophies, he's won loads of trophies. Yeah. He might not have the same, I need X amount of Champions League or a Champions League or I need X, Y, and Z before I retire. He might think, I've won the World Cup, I've won 3 Scudettas, I've won a couple of Italian Cups as well, I've had some good times at Manchester United, I want 550 grand a week and Newcastle might give it to me. Like, I'm not saying he will do that, and if I had to bet, I would guess it's going to be a PSG, a Juve or Real Madrid for the reasons mentioned before, but why wouldn't he? He's just been at Man United for, maybe some love from the fact that he kind of grew up at United a little bit. But mostly, it wasn't for trophies. They haven't panned out and he hasn't left. So, I don't know. Maybe he's not all about trophies. And he's won loads anyway. Let's not forget that. He's won more trophies than most midfielders ever will.
Yeah.
So, other than the Champions League, what's he got to win?
No, I mean... I'd be very surprised if it's a Newcastle.
I don't think he will, but it wouldn't blow me away.
I feel like, yes, they could offer him a lot of money, but I feel like he gets similar-ish money anyway elsewhere.
True.
And I think that he gets similar-ish money from the clubs you've mentioned and have a chance of not just winning trophies, but being on for starters, being in the Champions League. I know he might not be in that stays at Old Trafford, but I don't think he is staying at Old Trafford anyway. Being in the Champions League, which is a player of his calibre he should do. I know he came to us when we weren't, but that was, I don't think he came here thinking I'm going to be in the Europa for the rest of my life. I think it was like, one-off sort of thing. I think he can go and play alongside, no disrespect to Newcastle, but players of a better calibre if he goes to some of those other clubs that you've mentioned. If he goes to Real Madrid, they look at the players they've already got and who they're looking to add even.
Chris Wood would like a word, mate. Talking about top players, Chris Wood plays for
All right, Chris Wood. Yeah, I like Chris Wood.
I think they've still got DeAndre Yedlin on the box.
They've got John Joe Shelby, haven't they?
Yeah.
He turns into Pirlo when he plays against us.
Yeah.
I mean, I just can't see it happening. I think this is just purely speculation, and it's like Newcastle have got loads of money. He's out of contract, and whilst I often hang my hat on Spanish media outlet Fichajes, I'm gonna question this one for Zaze. That could be, you could have just made that up, and I would be none the wiser.
Yeah.
Jazz in the super chat says, "What on earth is a short-term manager? We already have a short-term manager. No matter how you put it."
Yeah, that's true. That's what you said.
Yeah.
Callum, that's the story. Have you got the graphic? Right. Let me intro this a little bit. Last week when you went on, everyone who watches this show regularly, and if you don't, Jay loves a story that mentions multiple reasons why a story won't happen. The likes of reports suggest, the likes of sources indicate, you're preparing to offer, willing to accept, etc., etc.
You know, them sort of ones.
It's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And you can sort of multiply them together like an accumulator. The more of those that are in a story, the less likely that it is to happen. Last week, we hit the holy grail of nondescript non sequiturs in a single story, Jay.
Brilliant.
And this is from last week. This isn't today's news. Look at this story, Jay. Read this. Manchester United prepare to scout. They haven't even scouted him yet. Prepare to scout Torino star. Man United will dispatch their chief scout to Italy to monitor centre-half Gleison Bremer, who was heavily linked. And this is what it says behind the scenes here. Man United ready to scout with £30 earmarked to sign the Tottenham target. Man United will dispatch their chief scout to monitor Gleison Bremer, who was heavily linked with Tottenham last month. Could it be any further away from happening, Jay? When I saw this, I couldn't believe it. United prepare to scout. Do you know that list of 802 right-backs that we've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka off? He's not even on that yet. He's not even 800 to 1 chance. What the fuck is that?
That sounds like they've said to the scout, "Are you looking at that Gleison Bremer?"
Yeah.
Have you looked at him?
Who is it again?
No, Gleison.
Let me just. No,
Gleison.
I'm not googling it. I'm just checking the database.
Gleison, the lad from he's in Italy. Yeah, I'm generating a few ideas. Yeah, generating some ideas. Preparing myself to go and look at him. Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
It's
Ridiculous.
Like, there's no way that you're preparing to scout someone. You're either scouting him or you're not. Preparing to scout just means we need a story. I need 400 words. Get me Man United in the title because it'll get some clicks. Here you go. Here's one we've never had. You remember that kid we were linking with Spurs the other week? Yeah, let's link him with United. But United aren't looking at him. I've got a way around that.
Yeah.
They're not looking at him, but they're preparing to look at him. Do you know they're not?
What does that process even look like of preparing to scout someone? Who knows? Getting the flights booked. Anyway,
looking on Skyscanner to see how much the next flight to Italy is.
Yeah.
I mean, that is gold. I've never seen that before in my life. No. Prepare to scout. That is just, we've given up. Yeah. We can't be bothered anymore with news stories. We're just going to make up scenarios. Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
We had at times when I was playing for a shit Sunday League team, we had scouts from Mansfield, Leeds, Sheffield Wednesday. They were at our game. I was never close to even signing for the academy, Jay. And that was scouted. Not what he's prepared to scout. They haven't even been to the ground yet. Anyway. Right, these mugs, you ever seen them? Now you have. Paddockmerch.com, new mugs in there. We've got loads in there. Make sure you check them out. Paddockmerch.com, great mugs. Tastes nice as well. Right, Chelsea up for sale then?
Yes, Chelsea. This is the thing from Abramovich. You can see the statement there. I think you can see it. As I stated before, I've always taken decisions with the club's best interests at heart. In the current situation, I've therefore taken the decision to sell the club as I believe this is in the best interest of the club, the fans, the employees, as well as the club sponsors and partners. 2 questions. Do you believe he's going to go, and do you think that will help us as Manchester United fans if he does?
I don't think he'll go anytime soon, and I do think it will help United if he does. Yeah. How long was Mike Ashley willing to sell Newcastle for? A decade?
Yeah. I think the burning question here is there's a lot of pressure on the government to try and freeze Abramovich's assets. I was watching PMQs earlier today because it's just how I roll, and that excited me. And his name came up a couple of times, and the government are stalling on it, and you wonder how long they can stall for. Does he need to sell Chelsea before they go, right, actually? Yeah. I don't know. I might be wrong, so forgive me if I am. Is that going to push through an earlier sale because he wants to sell it, take his assets and get out of Dodge? Or does it not really matter? Can he get away with it? I'm not so sure. I mean, Chelsea, they are a wealthy club because of the money he's put in. And one thing I read was he's not going to call in the loans that he's given him. So it's not like he's going to go, right, I'm off, you owe me £1 billion. So they're still going to be better financially than United are in all this debt with them parasites we've got on us. But are they going to be big players in the transfer market like they have been in the past? Are they going to be going out and buying, like that summer spending spree where they bought Ziyech and Havertz and Chilwell and Mendy and all them lot. Are they going to go out and buy £100 million Romelu Lukaku's? I know they sell a lot of the youngsters to make up some money, but are we going to see Chelsea sort of move down the sort of pecking order a little bit?
What you've got to say about Abramovich, and I don't think we need to get into the kind of political reasons behind all this on today's show like we did the other day. But what you will say about him is, regardless of him as a man, his time at Chelsea has been the absolute model for how you take over a club and take them from, B to A.
Yeah.
Like, they were a decent Premier League team that, had a bit of money, obviously in a very valuable part of London, but didn't win the league ever. They just knocked about, did all right here and there. He takes them to being the most successful club of the last 15 years. Obviously, City are the other ones where you can say they've been successful on the pitch. But the odds that someone takes over from him and is successful as he is are slim to none, because you just don't get much more successful than they've been under him. So even if someone like the Glazers, for instance, who are wealthy, they could buy a club like Chelsea or someone of the Glazers' ilk, they wouldn't be as successful as he's been. We've seen that at United. We're living proof of that.
They got a model that we've spoken about of when he took over, of bringing in, obviously, they had whoever Bruce Buck or whoever was overseeing everything, and I'm not sure about the exact pecking order and hierarchy, but their sort of modus operandi was, who's the best manager we can possibly get at the minute?
Yeah.
When he took over, it was Jose. I know, obviously, Ranieri was there, but he got rid of him. Jose comes in, just won the Champions League, special one and all that. Back-to-back titles. Fergie, like he does, sees him off, doesn't win a third. Okay, he's gone. They bring in, I know it was
Scolari?
No, sorry.
Hiddink?
He was the guy that Avram Grant takes over, and then you see likes of Scolari when he went in there, for example, didn't have success. They got rid of him, bringing like some like Hiddink short term. They've brought in Benitez short term. They've had managers like Ancelotti. I think Ancelotti was the next one after Jose that did well, won a double. The next season he finishes second. They sack him. Yeah. So they're very ruthless, but it works for them.
People like AVB, for instance, who comes in.
He's the best manager it seems that's available. Just won the Europa League, I think. Yeah. About 33 years old. Comes in after 6 months. It ain't happening. They get rid of him. And in some respects, they've looked out a little bit. The Di Matteo one wasn't by any great design. It was just fortunate that he managed to win the Champions League. I don't think that you go, well, that was a genius move, that bringing in Roberto Di Matteo. I think they were just quite fortunate that it just sort of tended to work out for them. But in other respects, in terms of like what you say, I don't think much of him and what he's done off the pitch. But in terms of business practices, all his ties to Putin and all that other stuff, we don't need to get into right now. But I'm not a fan of that. But you have to admit, he's been successful. They've been the most successful English club of the last 15 years. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They've won as many Champions Leagues as we have in that time.
Well, as we have since 1960.
Well, more in the last 15 years, yeah. They've won, 2 Champions Leagues? We've got 3. And you consider how successful we've been during the last 25, 30 years, whatever. So, it's just unreal. So,
I think it means that, the new owner is almost certainly not going to be as successful as Abramovich. They'd be incredibly lucky if he was.
Yeah, I wish he never took over Chelsea, to be honest with you. Just a load of shit in it. Nitish says, why is Ancelotti even in this convo? His methods weren't like to buy in by their players. He's outdated, in my opinion. Ten Hag is the obvious choice. Hope we choose to build a project with vision instead of hiring on sentiment. You know what? I have to agree with that. I think you're right. I think to a certain degree. I think there are question marks about him. I get it. And I don't think it should be sentiment. Like I say, my preferred choice would be Ten Hag. If we don't get Ten Hag, the next batch of managers isn't filling me with, sort of optimism. Yeah. When I look at Pochettino, I think, okay, maybe that could work. Someone like Ancelotti, I think maybe that could work. Who else is there? Luis Enrique, is he going to come? I don't think so. No. Even if you wait for him after the World Cup, which you'd have to do.
Zidane, I don't think will come.
Zidane, I don't think he would come. And, the big sort of problem you've got isn't the manager you bring in as well. It's the setup. We just spoke about Chelsea there. They have these conveyor belt of managers. But the managers tend to come in and have a good squad to work with. The managers also tend to be backed. Do you know what I mean? Tuchel was backed this summer, wasn't he? He wanted Lukaku, we got him. Lampard was backed. Yeah. I know they had the transfer ban, but the second season, or his second summer...
Everyone. Thiago Silva, Werner, Chilwell... who else did Ziyech,
Havertz,
250 million this year.
Yeah, they had the most expensive keeper in history of football. They went and bought another one. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So he's been backed. He was backed. They're always back the managers at United. We tend to sort of back them for a bit and then not do so, and that's part of the problem. This is so sad. Alexa Played Esposito says the Seas was talked about in 2019 by MP Chris Bryant. Chris Bryant, sorry, because Roman admitted in court to buying political influence, only in headlines now due to war. Yeah, so it has come to the forefront with the invasion of Ukraine. Looks like he might have to get a quick sale. I don't know. I'm not sort of, well up on
geopolitical side of that is probably kept in secret, a lot of it. Anyway,
yeah, so I don't want to start saying, this means he's got to sell the quick, because I don't know.
No.
It's just that might be a possibility. So we'll wait and see what happens with that. Wait and see. They're talking to this Swiss conglomerate. I don't know, some Swiss billionaire and his mates.
Sounds about right,
pulling
doesn't it?
together and, chucking a few billion
Randy
quid in.
Lerner.
Think about it. If he's put in, though, Abramovich, a load of money in loans and he's not calling them loans in, then if you buy that off him for 1.5 billion quid, then I'm guessing it's worth it to you, because it's a very valuable asset.
And also, if he's not willing to call these loans in, if he's getting out now, he thinks something big is coming, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing this because he now feels bad about what's happening politically. I think this is a money thing.
As well for him, maybe like England's a bit dead out for him now.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like I think he's got a Portuguese passport. I think he's got an Israeli passport. Don't quote me on that. I think he has got other countries where he can settle, and he's got property in. And I think if he was to sell up here and take his billions to one of his other countries that he lives in,
he'll be all right. He'll be all right.
You know what I mean? He can't go to Stamford Bridge this weekend, but don't worry about it, because you can go and watch, I don't know, sport in Lisbon.
Or you can have a TV made that is bigger than the actual pitch of Stamford Bridge in your back
Or
garden.
you can just hire the Chelsea players to come and play in your back garden.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? It'll be all right.
It'll be fine.
Yeah. Make sure you are checking out the video from BetVictor, where Adam McCullough will be chatting about Arteta and top four and all that other jazz with some other people from other fans, selling us out. So there's a link in the description for that. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's a big subscribe thing there. If you're not doing as well, hit that like button. Make sure you're checking out the mugs. Make sure you're checking out Joe Smith 93 over on the Twitter. You know where to find me, Jay Motti. Tomorrow morning is going to be you live here with the news, with all the breaking news about anything
breaking news
United related.
Love that.
Yeah? I was trying to think of a story that you might be covering, but I don't know yet, because it's breaking. So how would I know? It's now. It's not breaking, is it? It's old news by the time you do it in the morning. So that'll be live. So make sure you check that out. And also, Mr. Stephen Alson will be doing one of his 8-hour marathons probably later tonight. So go and check out his channel over on Stephen Alson TV. That's been Joe. I've been Jay. This has been Paddock Live. Thanks for watching.